Sarah, welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Thank you for taking my call.
Are you from Verizon? Can you hear me now? I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I was cutting out before. I'm a little bit
Hmm.
nervous. I'm excited.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm hoping that you can help me to establish better boundaries in my marriage,
Ah,
particularly to do with parenting our two teenage sons,
parenting two teenage sons. How old are said teenagers?
14 and 16.
14, 16. Okay. So what's
Yeah.
happening?
Well, my husband and I, we just, we've been at home a lot these days together, and we're all quite creative kind of people, and we have a lot of ideas, and it's been hard to establish routines and rules that we really will stick with, and I would say I tend to think of myself as liking routine more. Um, and then I get very angry when I find that my husband isn't kind of sticking with what he said he would uphold with a rule that we've done or whatever, and I find myself like my temper is getting kind of,
Huh.
uh, a bit too feisty.
Well, good for you for recognizing that. No, I'm
That's a start.
serious.
Now what? Now what do
Hey,
I
if the
do?
world were full of people that were like you, when there's an issue, they go, you know what? Part of this may be me. Boy, we could get away down the road way further, right? Because we can do
Okay.
something about ourselves. It gives you more control. Whenever we admit
Yeah.
our side of an issue, we have more control instantly.
Yeah.
So that's good. So give me an example of what would one of these you call them rules or
Yeah.
structures or whatever. What would an example be?
Yeah. I guess one example was recently computer use and video games are something that I get quite bothered by. And so my husband said, "Oh yeah, I decided that they shouldn't do computers until after 12 or lunchtime." And I was like, "Wow, okay, that's cool," because I'm usually the one
So
that
he
kind of
shares the same concern.
he does, yes.
It's good stuff.
Um, and so then I kind of jump on that, and I'm kind of the enforcer. Like I have the
You're like,
potential to,
okay, I got my marching
yeah.
orders. Now I'm gonna go take them to the carpet on this. Right? You,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I
you're
could.
ready.
I'm not a cop, but I wouldn't mind being a cop sometimes, um, even though everybody doesn't want to be a cop these days. Um, so, and then after a few days, then I get kind of tired of being the cop, and then I find that it's hard. Hard. He's ignored the rule, and they're all just doing their thing again, and then
He's ignored it, meaning he's ignored their breaking the rule.
yes, yes, or
Okay.
he hasn't even checked that it's
What
being
what is
maintained. He
what
often
is
doesn't
your
check.
what is he promised to do that he's not doing?
Um, he has not promised to enforce this rule. He
Okay.
has, yeah,
All right.
to be honest,
So
he
there's a
hasn't promised
problem. There's a
that.
problem, right?
Yes,
See, where
yeah,
you're wanting to, and totally understandable, it just never works. Get that phrase in
yeah,
your head. How about that? If we walk around realizing, you know, what I'm thinking and doing here is totally understandable. It's not going to work, but it's totally understandable. What
yeah,
what you're you're wanting to enforce an expectation of him that he hasn't agreed to.
yeah,
That's impossible to do. Because
yeah,
here's the problem. Here's the problem, and you might have heard me say this before. Is
yeah,
excuse me. Um, Humans, by and large, we judge each other by watching each other's behavior. So if somebody
yeah,
does something, we're going to judge that behavior and therefore
yeah,
judge them. That's kind of how our brains work. But we
yeah.
judge ourselves not by our behavior, but by our intentions.
Right, you said that earlier. I thought that
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking at him going, Dadgummit, he's not doing anything about this. He doesn't care about it. He's not supporting me and all this because you're judging that he
Yeah.
said he agreed to this and he's not doing anything about it. So you're looking at the absence of him setting limits, and he's there's an infraction here. Okay,
Yeah.
he's walking around thinking, who knows what he's thinking, but yeah, I care about the kids. I care about this video thing. I'm kind of too busy right now to do whatever, but I intend to. I'm going to bring that up. Oh, I got busy. I'm gonna go talk
Yeah.
to them about that. He has all of these
Do you know him?
intentions.
You sound just like him.
Well, he called me right before you called, and he prepped me for this. But he's thinking he's going to do it. And sometimes with people less structure in their head, when they have the thought,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I'm going to do that, you know what that does? It takes away the anxiety of not doing it as if they've done it, and then it goes away. And he's a little distractible anyway, right? And
Definitely.
so it never comes back on the radar screen. He's done it. His brain has already checked the to-do list. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I did that.
He
Why?
did call
Because I
you.
thought about doing it. Exactly. And you are a woman that lives in results, and he kind
Yeah.
of like lives in his intentions. Oh yeah, we'll get around to that. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So here's what I
Yeah.
would suggest: sit down, okay,
Mhm.
and say, you know, honey, you know what I really like is that you care about the kids and their development and stuff. I'm glad I have a partner like that does. I'm glad we're on the same page
Yeah.
there. I'm
Yeah.
glad about, even on specifics, you're worried about this screen time because it's a big issue and you want them to have a life apart from a screen.
Yeah.
So that's really, really great. Um, so, in order to make that happen, I've realized I'm kind of like, I'm sort of like expecting you to come in and do something about this. And then you may not even have thought that you're supposed to. And I might be judging you when I shouldn't be, but it kind of doesn't matter. What matters is that we do what's good for the kids. So let's get some, and here's the phrase, let's get some mutually agreed upon expectations here. Okay. And here's a little
Yeah.
formula that is the formula I came up with for how to think about accountability. Okay. Mutually agreed upon expectations. All right.
Mm.
That we're going to set the rule, no computers before noon. And our expectation with each other is we can divide up the days. You police it on Monday, I'll take Tuesday, or you take a week and I'll take a week, or you take all of it and I'll take, or but let's just be on the same page as who's responsible for what. Okay. And then we'll also get, and this is important with the boys don't have any mutually agreed upon expectations either.
Mm.
I mean, if these kids knew there's an expectation for me to not be on my computer before noon, and they knew the next step of accountability, how will we inspect that?
Mm.
Okay. How are you going to inspect it? You can't have accountability without an inspection. So, okay. So what we'll do is we're going to do random drug tests, right? So we'll come see,
Mm.
when did you log in, or your computer's kept up on the counter there. When did it come off? Some way we're going to inspect it. All right. And then if we find an infraction, what's going to happen then?
Mm.
And so
Oh
then,
yeah, random drug tests. That's good.
it's just expectations, inspections, and consequences.
Yeah,
And so
right.
you,
Because I don't. Yeah, I don't create enough accountability from my kids. I'm all about making myself accountable. Whereas he's
right.
working on getting them to be accountable, kind of vaguely. So I see that as a real lack in myself. I'm focusing on all like, did I do a good job and did my husband do a good job? But I'm not really
Yeah.
putting it on back on the kids enough, I think, too.
Well, it really, the thing about teenagers, I tell my teenagers, when they became teenagers, I've told this story before, but it's been a while. I'll tell it again, and then I'll let you go. When they got to be teenagers, I sat them down. I have two girls, and I said, "Girls, let me tell you how this teenage thing is going to work. Okay, you guys are going to want more freedom. All right, you're becoming teenagers. You want to want more freedom. You want more choices. You want to get to do a lot more stuff. You want to go out. You want to go to parties. You want to go spend the night with friends, you want to do all the blah, 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 blah. The world is your oyster and you're going to want to go explore it, right? Let me tell you something.
Mm.
I want you to have 100% freedom, and I don't want to control you. I want you to understand that from right now. I do not want to control you. All right? Here's the deal. This is going to operate according to a formula. Freedom equals responsibility equals love. All three of those have to be equal. So, guys, I want you to have the freedom to use your computer. Okay?
Mm.
But I want you to use it responsibly. And here's how we're going to define responsible: by whatever's loving. Does it hurt you or does it hurt someone else? Now, as your parents, we still have some say so in this. And so we think that 24 hours a day on a computer screen hurts you, right? So we're going to give you some guidelines here. And no computers for 12. Go find a life. There are bugs and stuff in the backyard to go play with. And if you are responsible, then you get to have all the freedom you want with the rest of the computer time. Now, if we inspect it and you're abusing your freedom by not being responsible and you're breaking the rule, then you will lose some of that freedom because they're going to be equal. Less responsible, less computer time. So you lose a computer for a week if we catch you on there before noon or something. But guys, you're in control, not me. I'm not going to control you. You do what you want. You use a computer, you lose it. Don't use it till afternoon, you gain it. It's up to you, pal. You're in charge. That way you get out of the controlling role, Mom. You just set the outcomes and the consequences. Then it's up to them to develop what we call self-control, which is the goal in raising teenagers. You don't want to be in control of them. You want to do everything to help them develop self-control, because you're not going to be out there in the back seat of a car or at a party or when a drug deal is offered or whatever it is. And if they don't have control of themselves, because that's been built in over time, then you would have to follow them around all the time to make sure that they behave. That's why self-control is the goal, not parental control. Make sense?
It's perfectly clear.
Perfectly clear. And you can say to him, you know what? I'm gonna have a nice day, guys, whether or not you get to use your computer or not. But whether or not you get to use it's up to you. Use it for noon, then sorry, but I'm gonna use mine. You just can't touch it. And you don't get rattled. See, the parent who's put their child in control. Yeah. Well, because you feel, here's it, you feel rattled because you're trying to control them into doing the right thing and they're not doing it, so they're driving you crazy. Take your hands off. Sure. Take your hands off. Control what you can control. The rules, the expectations, and the consequences. Then you get to sit back and watch them and see what they do and watch them experience the pain or the happy feelings that they get based on their choices. And you can have a nice day either way. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Alrighty. Okay.
I'm going to play this video for my husband.
Play it for him. And I'm going to say to you, hubby, God bless you for being a dad that's involved with your kids, that even cares about this.
And, I need to say that more. I think you give people good words. You kind of just say the sentence that you need to say. We just have to just mimic that.
Oh, there you go. Well, right. I'll tell him, hey, buddy, I don't know you, but I'm a parent. Way to go that you're involved. My hunch is that you're probably a little like me. You're not that structured. You're not that organized. You're a little more creative on the right side. You have to work at it a little bit, make some reminders, and have some accountability. Yeah. So up that part of your game. You got a wife that's good at that. Become partners instead of bumping heads like that. And you guys are going to be great parents. So God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call. Okay. We'll see you next time.
Bye.